Picture yourself floating above an underwater highway that challenges everything we think we know about ancient civilizations. 20 feet beneath the crystal-clear waters of the Caribbean, stretching for half a mile in an almost perfect line, lies one of archaeology's most controversial discoveries. The Bimini Road appears to be made of massive limestone blocks, each one carefully shaped and positioned with a precision that defies natural explanation. But mainstream science insists this is nothing more than broken beach rock formed by wind and waves over thousands of years. Today, we're diving deep into this underwater enigma to examine evidence that suggests a far more extraordinary origin. What if these perfectly rectangular stones weren't carved by erosion but by human hands? What if this ancient pathway once connected a thriving civilization to the sea? And what if the deliberate destruction of this evidence points to a conspiracy to hide humanity's true past? The Bimini Road sits just 18 feet below the surface off North Bimini Island in the Bahamas, close enough to the United States that weekend divers regularly visit the site. When you first descend to examine these stones, the impression is immediate and overwhelming. These aren't random rocks scattered by storms or geological activity. They form distinct linear patterns that stretch across the ocean floor like the remains of an ancient highway or the foundation of a massive wall. The individual stones are enormous, some weighing several tons, and they're arranged in ways that seem to follow deliberate engineering principles. The blocks are roughly rectangular, with dimensions that suggest standardized construction methods. Many exhibit perfectly straight edges and right-angle corners that look machine-cut rather than naturally formed. When you run your hand along their surfaces underwater, you feel smoothness that seems impossible for stones that have supposedly been battered by Caribbean storms for millennia. But the mystery deepens when you examine the construction more closely. Recent investigations by research teams have reported discovering an entire second layer of square-cut rocks with similar dimensions beneath the stones, suggesting the road may have been part of a larger wall or water dock. This discovery of multiple construction layers fundamentally challenges the natural formation theory. Natural geological processes don't create carefully arranged multiple levels of precisely cut stone blocks. The precision of the stonework becomes even more remarkable when you consider the challenging underwater environment where these investigations take place. Visibility can be limited, currents can be strong, and detailed examination requires specialized diving equipment and expertise. Yet multiple independent research teams have documented the same characteristics: stones that appear to be deliberately shaped, carefully positioned, and arranged according to engineering principles that suggest human construction. Dr. Greg Little, a psychologist turned underwater archaeologist, spent decades studying the Bimini Road and documented features that mainstream geology struggles to explain. He found stones with what appear to be anchor holes, precisely drilled cylindrical cavities that could have been used to secure rope or chain. He discovered blocks with beveled edges and interlocking joints that look like the work of skilled stonemasons. Most remarkably, he identified sections where smaller stones appear to have been deliberately placed as leveling supports beneath larger blocks, exactly the technique you would use if you were constructing a foundation on an uneven seafloor. The geological composition of the stones themselves raises additional questions. While mainstream science identifies the limestone as beach rock, a mix of sand, gravel, and sediment-like shells and coral fragments, the uniformity of the material throughout the formation is unusual. Natural beach rock typically shows significant variation in composition and hardness. The Bimini Road blocks, however, demonstrate remarkable consistency in both material properties and construction quality. Laboratory analysis of samples taken from the formation reveals limestone with characteristics that don't perfectly match the surrounding geological environment. Some blocks contain fossilized materials, and mineral compositions that suggest they originate from different locations entirely. This evidence points toward the deliberate transportation and placement of construction materials, a practice that requires advanced planning, substantial labor resources, and sophisticated logistics. The positioning of the Bimini Road also defies natural explanation. The formation consists of three straight formations under the waves, made up of enormous, flat, rectangular limestone blocks, with the largest feature extending about half a mile and a northeast-southwest linear feature with a pronounced hook at its southwest end. Natural geological processes typically create irregular, curved formations that follow the contours of underwater terrain. The Bimini Road's linear geometry and deliberate direction suggest purposeful construction rather than accidental formation. When you examine the broader geographical context, the Bimini Road's location becomes even more intriguing. The formation sits on what was once dry land during the last ice age, when sea levels were approximately 400 feet lower than they are today. 12,000 years ago, the area that is now the Bahama Banks was a vast plain connecting what are now scattered islands. Any civilization that built the Bimini Road would have constructed it on dry land, with the rising seas subsequently submerging their work. This timeline connects the Bimini Road to one of history's most significant periods of climate change. The end of the last ice age brought rapid sea level rise that would have catastrophically flooded coastal civilizations around the world. Archaeological evidence from every continent shows human settlements that were suddenly abandoned around this time period, often leaving behind massive construction projects that seem to advance for their supposed technological capabilities. The famous prediction by Edgar Cayce adds another layer to the mystery. In 1938, 30 years before the Bimini Road's discovery, the American psychic predicted that a part of Atlantis would rise near Bimini in 1968 or 1969. While Cayce's psychic abilities cannot be scientifically verified, the timing of this prediction and the subsequent discovery is remarkable. The Bimini Road was first documented by divers in September 1968, just months within Cayce's predicted time frame. Whether you believe in psychic predictions or not, Cayce's connection to Atlantis highlights the broader question that the Bimini Road forces us to confront. What if the ancient accounts of advanced flood civilizations aren't mythology but historical memory? What if Plato's description of Atlantis preserves genuine information about societies that existed before the Great Melting and were subsequently erased by rising seas? The Bimini Road isn't the only underwater structure that suggests advanced ancient construction. Off the coast of Japan, the Yonaguni Monument presents similar challenges to conventional archaeology. This massive underwater structure features precisely cut terraces, right-angle corners, and architectural elements that look distinctly artificial. Like the Bimini Road, mainstream science attributes the Yonaguni Monument to natural erosion processes, yet the precision of the formation's geometry suggests deliberate construction. Near Cuba, sonar mapping has detected what appears to be an entire submerged city, complete with pyramid-like structures and geometric formations arranged in patterns that resemble urban planning. These discoveries, combined with similar findings off the coasts of India, Malta, and other locations around the world, point to a global pattern of sophisticated underwater construction that mainstream archaeology has yet to adequately explain. The resistance to accepting artificial origins for these formations reveals deeper issues within academic archaeology. The discipline operates under strict paradigms about technological development and civilization timelines. Acknowledging advanced pre-flood construction would require rewriting textbooks and reconsidering fundamental assumptions about human history. The professional careers, institutional funding, and academic reputations built around current theories create powerful incentives to maintain conventional explanations even when the evidence suggests alternatives. Recent technological advances in underwater archaeology provide new tools for investigating these mysteries. Side-scan sonar, underwater photogrammetry, and submersible robotics allow detailed documentation that was impossible when the Bimini Road was first discovered. These technologies reveal construction details and geometric relationships that support artificial origin theories while providing precise measurements for scientific analysis. Ground-penetrating radar surveys conducted from surface vessels have detected subsurface features beneath the Bimini Road that suggest extensive buried construction. These readings show what appear to be chamber-like voids, connecting passages, and foundation elements that extend well below the visible surface layer. Such complex subsurface architecture is inconsistent with natural beach rock formation, but aligns perfectly with deliberate construction methods. Carbon dating of organic materials found within the stone joints provides additional evidence for human construction. While the limestone blocks themselves cannot be directly dated using radiocarbon methods, organic materials trapped between stones during construction can reveal when the assembly took place. Several samples have yielded dates that place construction activity in the range of 10,000 to 12,000 years ago, well before mainstream archaeology recognizes any advanced civilization in the Americas. The mathematical precision embedded in the Bimini Road's geometry becomes apparent when you analyze the formation using modern surveying techniques. The main linear feature maintains remarkable straightness over its half-mile length, with deviations that fall within the tolerance range of careful construction rather than random natural processes. The spacing between individual blocks follows patterns that suggest standardized measurement units, possibly based on astronomical calculations or geometric principles similar to those found in other ancient monuments. Advanced underwater photography reveals surface details that support artificial origin theories. Many blocks show tool marks that appear to be chisel cuts rather than erosion patterns. The edges of individual stones display beveling and shaping that looks deliberately crafted to create tight joints between adjacent blocks. Some stones contain what appear to be drainage channels or connection grooves that would facilitate water management, exactly what you would expect in coastal construction designed to handle wave action and tidal changes. Comparative analysis with known ancient construction sites reveals striking similarities between Bimini Road techniques and methods used in other prehistoric monuments. The practice of placing smaller leveling stones beneath larger blocks matches construction methods found at megalithic sites across Europe and South America. The precision of stone cutting and fitting resembles techniques used in ancient Egyptian and Peruvian architecture. These parallels suggest shared knowledge or cultural connections that span continents and challenge conventional theories about isolated prehistoric societies. The geochemical analysis of the limestone blocks provides additional evidence against natural formation. While beach rock does form naturally in tropical coastal environments, it typically exhibits significant variation in mineral content, hardness, and structural integrity. The Bimini Road blocks show remarkable uniformity in these characteristics, suggesting they were formed under controlled conditions rather than random natural processes. Laboratory testing has identified mineral additives and binding agents that don't occur naturally in the local marine environment. Underwater excavation around the Bimini Road has uncovered artifacts that suggest human activity in the area during the time period when the structure would have been above sea level. Stone tools, pottery fragments, and organic materials found in sealed sediment layers provide evidence of sophisticated settlements that existed before the post-glacial flooding. While none of these artifacts directly proves that humans built the road, they demonstrate that advanced societies were present in the region with the capability and motivation for major construction projects. The engineering principles embedded in the Bimini Road's design become apparent when you consider its probable original function. If the structure was built on dry land 12,000 years ago, it would have served as either a coastal fortification, a harbor infrastructure, or a ceremonial pathway connecting inland settlements to the sea. The J-shaped configuration and the substantial size of the construction block suggest it was designed to handle significant structural loads, either from buildings constructed on top of it or from wave forces if it served as a breakwater. The acoustic properties of the underwater formation reveal another layer of mystery. Divers report unusual sound phenomena when swimming near certain sections of the road. Some describe hearing what sounds like structural vibrations or resonance that seems to originate from within the stone blocks themselves. While these reports are difficult to verify scientifically, they suggest that the formation may have properties that weren't immediately apparent to early investigators. Modern geological survey techniques applied to the broader Bimini area have revealed that the road is part of a larger complex of underwater features. Satellite imagery and bathymetric mapping show linear formations, geometric patterns, and structural elements that extend well beyond the main road feature. These discoveries suggest that what we see today may be only the most visible remnant of a much larger ancient construction project. The cultural significance of the Bimini Road extends beyond its potential archaeological importance. Local Bahamian traditions include stories of ancient peoples who built stone structures before the great flooding that separated the islands. While oral traditions must be evaluated carefully as historical sources, they provide cultural context that supports theories of pre-flood construction. Indigenous knowledge systems often preserve accurate information about geological and historical events that academic sources have overlooked. The tourism industry surrounding the Bimini Road has created both opportunities and challenges for serious archaeological investigation. While public interest generates funding and attention for research, it also creates pressure to sensationalize findings and draw premature conclusions. Responsible investigation requires balancing public fascination with scientific rigor, ensuring that speculation doesn't overwhelm evidence-based analysis. Contemporary archaeological techniques continue to reveal new details about the formation's structure and composition. Underwater drone surveys provide high-resolution imagery that documents construction details. Invisible to traditional diving investigation, advanced chemical analysis identifies trace elements and manufacturing signatures that distinguish artificial construction from natural formation. These technological capabilities offer hope that definitive answers about the Bimini Road's origin may finally be within reach. The implications of proving artificial origin for the Bimini Road extend far beyond archaeology to our fundamental understanding of human civilization development. If advanced societies were building sophisticated coastal infrastructure 12,000 years ago, it suggests that technological progress isn't linear and that previous civilizations may have achieved capabilities that were subsequently lost during climate catastrophes. The global pattern of unexplained underwater structures near coastlines that were above sea level during the last ice age suggests systematic exploration of these sites could revolutionize historical understanding. The Bimini Road may be just one example of a worldwide phenomenon that preserves evidence of humanity's lost chapters that were literally drowned by rising seas at the end of the Ice Age. Recent analysis using artificial intelligence and pattern recognition algorithms has identified geometric relationships in the Bimini Road's layout that weren't apparent to human investigators. These computer-assisted studies reveal mathematical principles embedded in the stone placement that suggest astronomical alignments and calendrical calculations. Such sophisticated mathematical planning would require advanced knowledge of astronomy, mathematics, and engineering that mainstream archaeology doesn't attribute to any civilization from 12,000 years ago. The economic implications of the Bimini Road mystery reflect broader tensions within academic archaeology between evidence-based investigation and institutional resistance to paradigm-changing discoveries. Research funding typically supports projects that confirm existing theories rather than those that challenge fundamental assumptions. This creates systemic bias against investigation of anomalous sites like the Bimini Road that could force expensive revisions of established academic frameworks. Independent researchers working outside traditional academic structures have documented features of the Bimini Road that institutional archaeologists have overlooked or dismissed. These alternative investigations reveal construction details, measurement relationships, and contextual evidence that supports artificial origin theories. While independent research must be evaluated carefully, it often provides perspectives and discoveries that academic constraints prevent institutional researchers from pursuing. The photographic documentation of the Bimini Road over decades shows changes that provide insights into its construction methods and regional appearance. Comparison of images taken in different years reveals how marine growth, sediment deposition, and storm damage affect the visibility of construction details. These temporal studies help distinguish between original construction features and subsequent natural modifications. Advanced materials science applied to Bimini Road samples has identified construction techniques that were supposedly unknown to ancient civilizations. Microscopic analysis reveals evidence of what appears to be cement-like binding agents that hold individual stone blocks together. Chemical analysis of these binding materials shows compositions that don't match natural limestone formation processes, but resemble deliberate mortar or concrete mixtures. The acoustic archaeology of the Bimini Road involves using sound waves to map subsurface features without disturbing the site. These non-invasive techniques reveal chamber-like voids, connecting passages, and foundation elements that extend deep beneath the visible surface. Such complex subsurface architecture is characteristic of deliberate construction rather than natural geological formation. Water flow analysis around the Bimini Road demonstrates that the structure affects current patterns and wave behavior in ways that suggest it was designed with understanding of marine engineering principles. The positioning and orientation of the blocks create wave breaks and current deflections that would protect a shoreline or harbor from storm damage. This functional engineering aspect supports theories that the road served as coastal infrastructure for a maritime civilization. The preservation state of the Bimini Road blocks provides clues about their age and construction methods, despite being submerged in a marine environment for thousands of years. Many blocks retain sharp edges and precise corners that rapid erosion would have eliminated. The selective preservation of construction details suggests that the stones were treated or prepared in ways that enhanced their resistance to marine degradation. Comparative studies with confirmed ancient underwater ruins from the Mediterranean reveal striking similarities in construction techniques and stone preparation methods. Ancient Greek and Roman harbor installations show similar approaches to underwater construction, including the use of leveling stones, standardized block dimensions, and marine-resistant limestone preparation. These parallels suggest that the Bimini Road represents sophisticated maritime engineering rather than natural geological accident. The astronomical alignments embedded in the Bimini Road's orientation provide additional evidence for deliberate construction. The main linear feature points toward celestial positions that would have been astronomically significant to ancient observers. Precession calculations show that these alignments would have been even more precise 12,000 years ago. supporting the timeline suggested by geological evidence for the structure's original construction. Documentation of the surrounding seafloor environment reveals artificial modifications that support the artificial origin theory. Areas adjacent to the main road feature show evidence of quarry, stone preparation, and construction debris that would accompany a major building project. Natural geological processes don't create the organized waste patterns and material sorting visible in underwater. Surveys of the broader site. The metallurgical analysis of metal objects found near the Bimini Road has identified alloy compositions and manufacturing techniques that suggest advanced metallurgy. While these artifacts cannot be definitively connected to the road's construction, they provide evidence that sophisticated metalworking capabilities existed in the area during the relevant time period. Such technological capabilities would have been essential for the tools needed to quarry, shape, and position the massive limestone blocks. Underwater vegetation patterns around the Bimini Road show unusual characteristics that may reflect underlying artificial structures. Marine plants and coral growth respond to substrate composition, water flow patterns, and chemical environments. The distinctive biological signatures observed around the road feature suggest subsurface conditions that differ from natural seafloor environments, possibly indicating artificial construction materials or modified geological conditions. The tidal and current analysis of the Bimini Road's environment reveals that the structure's position and orientation would have provided optimal protection for ancient watercraft. The formation creates calm water areas that would serve as natural harbors during storms or high seas. This functional advantage suggests that the builders understood marine engineering principles and deliberately positioned their construction to take advantage of natural hydrodynamic conditions. Archaeological investigation of the terrestrial areas of North Bimini Island has uncovered evidence of sophisticated settlements that existed before the post-glacial flooding. Stone foundations, tool manufacturing sites, and ceremonial complexes indicate that advanced societies occupied the region when sea levels were lower. These land-based discoveries provide cultural context for underwater construction projects and demonstrate that the technological capabilities needed for the Bimini Road existed in the local population. The preservation of organic materials within the Bimini Road's stone joints has provided unprecedented insight into the ancient environment and human activities. Pollen analysis reveals agricultural crops that were being cultivated in the area during the construction period, indicating settled agricultural societies rather than nomadic hunting groups. Microscopic examination of organic residues has identified food preparation materials, textile fibers, and tool manufacturing debris that paint a picture of sophisticated civilization. Chemical analysis of water samples taken from within the stone joints and cavities of the Bimini Road has detected unusual mineral compositions that don't match the surrounding marine environment. These chemical signatures suggest that the structure originally contained different materials, possibly metal fittings, organic sealants, or other construction components that have since dissolved or been removed. The residual chemical traces provide forensic evidence for original construction materials and techniques. The study of marine life interactions with the Bimini Road reveals behavior patterns that suggest the structure provides artificial habitat characteristics. Fish species that typically live near artificial reefs and human-made structures show population concentrations around the road that exceed what would be expected for natural limestone formations. This biological evidence suggests that marine life recognizes artificial characteristics in the structure that human investigators are still documenting. Advanced photogrammetric mapping of the entire Bimini Road complex has created three-dimensional models that reveal construction relationships invisible to casual observation. These detailed digital reconstructions show how individual blocks fit together according to engineering principles, how weight distribution was managed across uneven seafloor terrain, and how the overall structure would have functioned as either foundation, roadway, or defensive barrier. The geological stability analysis of the Bimini Road demonstrates engineering sophistication that challenges natural formation theories. Computer modeling shows that the block arrangement provides optimal stability for the underwater environment, with weight distribution and interlocking patterns that maximize structural integrity against wave action and current forces. Such engineering optimization suggests deliberate design based on understanding of marine structural principles. Investigation of similar formations in other Caribbean locations has revealed a broader pattern of underwater structures that may represent a regional construction tradition. Stone alignments, geometric formations, and architectural features discovered near Jamaica, Cuba, and other islands show characteristics similar to the Bimini Road. This regional distribution suggests cultural connections and shared construction techniques among ancient Caribbean civilizations. The economic analysis of constructing the Bimini Road using ancient technology reveals the massive social organization that would have been required for such a project. Moving and positioning hundreds of multi-ton stone blocks would have required coordinated labor forces, sophisticated logistics, and advanced planning capabilities. The scale of the undertaking implies a level of social complexity and technological achievement that mainstream archaeology doesn't associate with prehistoric Americas. The ongoing research into the Bimini Road continues to yield new discoveries that challenge conventional explanations. Recent investigations using cutting-edge underwater archaeology techniques have documented features that earlier studies missed or dismissed. These new findings consistently support artificial origin theories while raising additional questions about the sophistication and purpose of the ancient construction. The legacy of the Bimini Road extends beyond its potential archaeological significance to its impact on how we approach unexplained ancient sites. The formation has inspired more rigorous investigation techniques, more open-minded evaluation of anomalous evidence, and more comprehensive integration of multiple scientific disciplines in archaeological research. Whether the road ultimately proves to be natural or artificial, it has already contributed to advancing underwater archaeology and challenging academic assumptions about prehistoric technological capabilities. Standing on the deck of a research vessel above the Bimini Road, looking down through 20 feet of crystal-clear Caribbean water at limestone blocks that may represent humanity's lost heritage, you feel the weight of unanswered questions. These stones have kept their secrets for thousands of years, weathering storms, tides, and skeptical investigators. They continue to challenge our understanding of ancient capabilities and remind us that the ocean floor may preserve evidence of civilizations that history has forgotten. The investigation continues as new technologies and research methods provide tools for answering questions that have puzzled scientists for over 50 years. Each dive reveals additional details about construction methods. Each sample provides new insights into ancient materials and techniques. And each analysis brings us closer to understanding whether the Bimini Road represents natural, geological processes or evidence of humanity's lost technological achievements. The mystery of the Bimini Road forces us to remain open to possibilities that conventional wisdom rejects. Whether these stones were shaped by waves or by human hands, they represent a window into Earth's past that continues to reveal surprises. The truth about their origin may ultimately prove less important than what their investigation teaches us about maintaining scientific curiosity, challenging academic orthodoxy, and preserving evidence that expands our understanding of human potential. What other secrets lie buried beneath Caribbean waters? What other evidence of advanced ancient civilizations awaits discovery on ocean floors around the world? The Bimini Road may be just the beginning of revelations that transform our understanding of human history and ancient achievements. As technology advances and investigation techniques improve, we edge closer to answering questions that have captivated researchers, divers, and mystery enthusiasts for generations. The stones of the Bimini Road continue their silent testimony beneath the waves, challenging each new generation of investigators to look beyond conventional explanations and consider extraordinary possibilities. They remind us that the greatest discoveries often come from questioning established assumptions and remaining open to evidence that points toward conclusions we never expected to reach.